Hey guys, Shaman here, the founder of Restorarion Shaman from 1 to 80 videos. Today I will show you guys, and preferably girls, on how to heal as a Restorarion Shaman. This video will be part of a series of videos, and this first video will discuss the basics on how to heal as a Restorarion Shaman. Over the months I've got to know the restoration tree of the Shaman more and more since the day I first fell in love with it. I've learned a lot of things that are very useful to me, and I would love to share that information with you. Note that this video is made for patch 3.3.2 and future updates might affect the use of this video. Let's start off with the talents. So these are my talents for restoration. I'm just gonna discuss some minor details about where I put my points in special talents that other people won't put their points in. I tried to discuss every single talent in a video, but it turned out to be 50 minutes long, so I'll just speed it up. And just to clarify, this is my point of view for my talents, so they are just suggestions. You don't have to absolutely follow them. I got a link in the sidebar to my WoW Armory page where you can check out the talents in your own pace. So this is my first special talent, which other people would preferably spend somewhere else. It's called Healing Focus, and it reduces your pushback suffered when enemies attack you by 70% if maxed. I picked this above Healing Wave since I'm running a lot of 5-mans, and that means that there can come a lot of ads that can push your healing back a lot, and that can be pretty bad for 5-mans. But in raid environments I suggest putting 3 points out of that and investing it into this talent called Healing Wave, which increases the healing done by your healing wave by 25%. Some people would just rather take out those 3 points of healing focus and just put them in healing way right away for 5-mans, but I myself don't use healing way that much in 5-mans. If we have a good tank, I can just either use healing wave a lot or riptide and just a few healing waves. It's not worth it to me right now. And the next exception for me is elemental weapon mastery. Earth Living is an ability that shamans have to apply, that they can apply to their weapons, which increase their spell power and give them a chance to get an heal over time effect on the target. But this talent improves that spell power. So here's a little bit of math. The max spell power you get from Earth Living is 150 spell power. If you increase that by 30%, you get only 55 extra spell power. Some people would ignore this, but I find it a nice little bonus. So choose yourself if you want to put 3 points into elemental weapons for the extra 45 spell power. And these are my glyphs. As my first glyph, I use Glyph of Earth Shield, which increases the effect of your Earth Shield spell by 20%. If you use it in combination with the improved Earth Shield talent, it will increase your Earth Shield healing by a total of 30%, and that's a lot. I mean, Earth Shield is an amazing ability. It's like a free lesser healing wave, and the best thing about it is that it can critical hit. Well, critical heal. I'll show you more about Earth Shield and other healing spells in a few moments, and I'll just discuss my next glyph right now. I also use Glyph of Chain Heal, which is a must-have. It increases your jumps of Chain Heal to 4 from 3. So that's 1 extra jump, and it's really useful. And I use Glyph of Water Mastery because I'm still a bit gearing up and I have mana problems. What Glyph of Water Mastery does, it increases your passive mana regeneration of your Water Shield by 30%, which makes it 130 mana per 5 seconds for me. As minor glyphs, it doesn't matter at all what you're using. I just suggest use Glyph of Renewed Life. And for if you have the right gear, I suggest swapping the Glyph of Water Mastery with either Glyph of Riptide, which increases the healing over time by 6 seconds, or Glyph of Healing Stream Totem, which just makes Healing Stream very useful. So that's all for the glyphs and the talents. Now I'll show you guys a bit more about when to use which heals and what they exactly do. So now I'll give you guys a few tips on how to heal as a Restorarion Shaman. First of all, the two things you always have to keep up are your Earth Living weapon buff, which, like I said earlier, increases your spell power and gives you a 20% chance to give an healing over time effect on your target. And the second thing you will always need to have up is your water shield. It doesn't only give you 100, well in my case 130 mana per 5 seconds, but if in case you get struck in combat, let's say someone is hitting you, you gain 428 mana. Unfortunately, water shield has 4 charges, and if the charges run out, you just have to put them up again. But in a raid environment or a PvE or any other PvE environment, you won't be doing that much unless you have a bad tank. So let's start off with the most basic spell, Lesser Healing Wave. When cast on self, it just heals for a very moderate number, but it's enough to keep your tank alive in most of the cases. With my gear it only heals 3.7k, but with very good gear it could heal like 5 to 6k. Second spell is Healing Wave. This is your big one. It has a 2.2 second cast time with my haste at the moment, and I'll show a second. Well, here's how long it basically costs to cast. But as you can see there, it gave me a lot of health. Here uncritted it gives 7.3k, and my Lesser Healing Wave, which has a short cast time, gives only 3.7k. So that's one of the decisions you have to make. Will I keep my tank alive by basically giving him a fast heal that will land pretty quickly but wouldn't heal that much, or will you heal him back to full almostly but at a higher mana cost and at a longer casting time? So Healing Wave is like can be pretty dangerous if you're timing it incorrect, and hopefully I can teach you guys how to not time it incorrect. Healing Wave can be very dangerous. I mean, that extra 0.5 seconds can be lethal. Then you have Chain Heal. This is what makes shamans really special. I mean, when I'm casting it on myself, I cannot show the full effect. Of course, right now it heals 4.7k uncritted. But what it does, it heals multiple party members, so it just jumps to the next party member with the lowest HP, and then to another party member, and so on. It only jumps 4 times because I've glyphed it, but each time it jumps, the healing effect is reduced by 40%. This can pretty much suck for a shaman, but it's also pretty cool. And of course, one of my favorite spells is Earth Shield. You get this in the Restorarion Talent Spec tree. It costs 624 mana to cast, and that's just cast it on myself. It creates this orb floating around you. It's like a water shield, but the exception of this is you can cast it on other people, preferably your tank. It has 8 charges, and it used to shield the target for 506 health, but in my case it heals around 2k, and critted it can heal around 3k. Pretty nice.